What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this quick review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 2, Sisters Before Misters. I want to first start talking about Kenya, Sheree, and Martell. So at Ross's 40th birthday party, Kenya tried to expose Martell for trying to holler at her before he started talking to Sheree, and it kind of blew up in Kenya's face in a way because Kenya tried to make it seem like Martell was trying to holler at her like 6 months before he started talking to Sheree. Kind of like showing that, he was just trying to hook up with anybody on this cast. So he went through Kenya, didn't get nothing from Kenya, and then he moved on to Sheree. Well, they kind of blew up in her face because when she on her phone, when she said that Martell had DM'd her, the message wasn't there. It was deleted because she never had responded to his request or his message or something. So by the time she was able to open up the message, it was gone. But Martell was able to show it on his phone. I did notice that when Martell was showing his phone, he would not let anybody take the phone out of his hand. He had a tight grip on that phone. But anyways, and so when he showed it on his phone, the message that he had sent her, it was just a very simple, benign, innocent little message, either congratulating her or complimenting her for appearing on some show. And that was it. There was nothing else there. And it was like 2 years ago. It wasn't 6 months prior to him meeting Sheree. It was 2 whole years ago. Well, even though it was 2 years ago, right? And even though the message was really innocent, I mean, knowing how Martell is, I wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to butter up Kenya because he did want to talk to her. But 2 years ago, wasn't she like very much married to Mark? So maybe it was as innocent as he proclaimed it to be. And Kenya was just doing the most with the least, just trying to make it seem like Martell was trying to holler at her. And it was not that at all. He was just trying to be friendly. I have no idea. But Sheree wasn't bothered. Sheree didn't care because, Sheree is like, she does want to know if her man is creeping on her. She does want her friends to tell her if her man's messing around, but she needs you to come with receipts. She needs you to come with cold, hard evidence of, whatever's going on, whatever's taking place. And Kenya did not have that. So Sheree didn't care. So then Kenya and Martell kind of go at it a little bit because Martell didn't appreciate how Kenya was trying to make him look. She was trying to make him look like, like he just goes after any of these women on reality TV or whatever the hell. And even told Kenya, you seem like the kind of person who would accept any request that comes to you online or any, I don't know what he said, something about any friend request or any message that you get. You seem like the kind of person who would respond to all of them or you would accept all of them. Trying to paint a picture that she's real thirsty and desperate. And so Kenya didn't like that. And she says something to him like, once a cheater, always a cheater, referring to him cheating on his ex-wife, Melody Holt, who is now Melody Cherie. And so when she said that, Martell came back with, even if I was trying to F you, it was 2 years ago that I was trying to F you. It was a long, long time ago. You're not relevant anymore to me. And it was just like, it went crazy. So because of that exchange, now Kenya wants to tell Sheree that you need to watch out for Martell because I'm seeing some red flags. I'm seeing some signs there that he may be abusive. And, Kenya thinks that she's an expert on abusive men because of the relationship that she had with that one crazy dude who broke out her garage door windows. I forgot what the guy's name was. So because of her experience with him, she thinks that she can spot an abuser a mile away. And Sheree was trying to tell Kenya, well, you need to be careful with how you're labeling these black men because first you labeled Ross as being very aggressive. Now you're labeling Martell as being abusive. You need to tread really lightly on how you refer to these black men because they're not that. Ross is not aggressive. Ross was just trying to protect his wife when Kenya was going after her when they were in Jamaica last year. And Martell probably should not have allowed himself to get triggered by Kenya because that's what Kenya does. She likes to push buttons, and he should have known that because he studied, the women on this show. So he should have known that, but I'm not going to sit up here and say, yeah, Kenya's right. Martell, he's a walking time bomb and he's abusive and Sheree needs to watch out. But the funny thing is, Martell was talking crazy to Kenya, not to Sheree. So instead of telling Sheree to stay away, Kenya, you need to stay away from Martell and don't push his buttons. But Yeah, Kenya is doing the most. I think she's doing too much when she wants to automatically label these men as aggressive and abusive. Yeah, we're not going to go there. But Kenya, she's with a white man, so she don't really give a damn. Moving on to Candy. So Candy, when we see Candy, she is at Blaze with Todd, and they're having a meeting with Melvin. Now, Melvin is her head chef. And when he walks into the restaurant, he has his arm in a sling. And so, who was the other guy that was there? He was on her spinoff show, Candy and the Gang. I forgot his name. Her director of operations or something, director of management, whatever it is. So they're all meeting at Blaze because they're trying to come up with ideas on how to get more people into the restaurant. Ever since C19, I guess, the business has kind of tanked a little bit. They're not generating as much revenue, and so they're trying to get more people in. And so one of the things that they're going to try to do is they're going to try to revamp the menu. So they're having a taste test. So they're sitting up there tasting the food and everything, and then one of the producers comes out from behind the camera and tells Todd and Candy, so we're just not going to talk about the elephant in the room. And Todd was like, what do you mean? And the producer says his arm, because Melvin, her head chef, who's also her cousin, had his arm in a sling. And so Todd was like, yeah, we can't talk about that because, there's legal action that's still pending on that. So Candy tells us in her confessional that Melvin had to get on an employee because that employee came to work late that particular day. And so when he got on the employee for coming in late, him and the employee began exchanging words. And it got so bad that it went outside. They had to take it outside. And so as they were arguing outside, the employee pulled out a gun and shot Melvin. And thank God he survived. But I guess there's like criminal charges pending for that, so they can't really talk about it. But anyways, whatever. That's the situation. And was it Marlo? Who was it? No, it was Sheree, I think, who was making jokes about, how dangerous it is going to Candy's establishments because I guess she has them in questionable parts of town. I don't know. But anyway, so that's the situation with her cousin Melvin. Now, they also talked about her and Todd, I think, had also talked about, because Todd wants to open up another restaurant. So they have OLG, they have Blaze. He wants to open up Oleji, a Mexican restaurant like Ole. And he also wants to open up a pizza joint. And so Candy was like, why do you want to open up so many damn restaurants? And Todd said, because they make money. He says, this is the most money I've ever made, in my life ever. And he's referring to the money that they're getting from the restaurants. So he's like, yeah, they make really good money. And Candy was like, but your passion is film and television. And he says, yes, and I can use the money from the restaurants to finance my true passion, my true calling, which is, television and film. Okay, fine, whatever. So moving on from there, we see Candy. She's having dinner or lunch with Sonia, and Sonia cannot wait to tell Candy that Courtney was talking crap about her. So evidently Candy and Courtney were at some event or at some venue, and Candy had posted her location on her social media. Well, the next day, a whole bunch of her fans showed up at this location, and Courtney said that they were all ghetto. And so Sonia was telling Candy this, and I guess Sonia thought that she was, delivering some really juicy information to Candy about Courtney and what Courtney said about her and her fan base. But Candy kind of turned it around on Sonia and said, okay, when this girl was talking about me and calling me ghetto, what did you say? And wanting to know, did Sonia, back her up? Did she stand up for her? And of course, Sonia lied because Sonia wasn't there for that. Sonia was there for the mess. So Sonia lies to Candy and says, yeah, I told her that the two of you will have to have a conversation at some point. A conversation about what? A conversation about whether she called her fans ghetto. That's worthy of a conversation. Sonia, you should have just nipped it in the bud. If Candy's your girl, like the way you want to make it look like, if she's your girl, then you should have just nipped it in the bud right then and there at the moment when it was happening. And you should have checked Courtney and should have told her, I don't think it's cool for you to say that about my friend or whatever. These ghetto people are making her rich. So, what's the problem? So I'm like not understanding. Anyway, so Candy, she knows the what's up. She knows that Sonya was lying. Sonya did not tell Courtney that her and Courtney needed to have a conversation. Sonya was just there eating it all up, egging it on. So that was really interesting. Now, the thing with Sonya, to me, sometimes I feel like Sonya is a little bit too excited to be on this show, and she just cannot wait to get involved in the mess and get involved in the drama. Like, she gets really excited. Now, let's talk about Sonya. So Sonya has her family living with her sister, her brother-in-law, her nephews, and her parents. And I think there was a scene where her and her husband Ross were having a conversation, and Ross was like, isn't it about time for your family to move out? He wants his kingdom back. The king of the castle wants his castle back. And I think Sonya is not ready for her family to move out, because Sonya said that the agreement was they were going to stay with them for like 1 to 2 years. And Sonya says it's only been 1 year, as if it hasn't been long enough that they've been there. I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know why Sonya would want her family to stay with her that long. It feels like, to me, her sister is over it. Her sister wants to move on and move out. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Sonya had told us in the last episode, was it the last episode or was it this one? I don't remember. Sonya had told us that her brother-in-law is working for her so that he can start gaining connections to help him out with his real estate business. But I don't know what's going on. But I'm like, I agree with Ross. It's time for your family to move out, because, families living in such close quarters, especially with, this many dominant personalities, because the women in this family have very alpha type personalities. Sonya, her sister, her mother. So yeah, I would think it's about time for the family to move out. And like I said before, why can't Sonya give her sister and her brother-in-law a little bit of money, even as a loan? If they've got too much pride just to accept money from her, it can be a loan with interest for them to put a down payment on a cute little house, or, maybe even like an apartment or something, to pay for the first month's, last month rent, however it goes, or something. And then they can pay her back. I'm not understanding why they want to be living together for this long, but it seems like Sonya is not ready for her family to move out. Moving on from there, we have Drew. So Drew all of a sudden has this interest in music, just because, she got a little bit of feedback, positive feedback, when she sang happy birthday to Kenya last year. Now she thinks she's Mariah Carey, and that she needs to follow this dream of becoming a singer, a worldwide, internationally known singer. Now, she was part of a music group way back in the day, so she has dabbled in music, but it's just sort of like, where is all of this coming from? Because the whole time that she's been on this show, she really has never expressed this intense passion for music. So all of a sudden, she's got to pursue music. Music is extremely important to her life. It's extremely important to her marriage. And so she needs to pursue this, just because she sung happy birthday and got a couple of thumbs up on that. Okay, fine, girl. Now, what I didn't understand is she's already released a single, and whenever she talks about her single, she says, me and Ralph released a single. What the hell does that mean? Is Ralph singing on the song as well, or what? I missed that. But she always says me and Ralph released a single. And on the cover of the CD, I guess, I don't know what it was, the cover art, it was her and Ralph. And it's funny to me how Ralph is very involved in Drew's projects, her businesses, but she is not allowed to have anything to do with his. Like, when he wrote his book, the girl didn't even know he was writing a book. And he tells her, like, when the book is damn near done, that he wrote this book, or that he's writing a book. Didn't even want to tell her the title, didn't want to tell her what the book was about, none of that. It's just weird to me. He wants her to be, far and away from his stuff, but he's all involved with her stuff. But anyways, if I was Drew, I would tell him, you know what, go sit your butt over there with your books and whatever the hell else you're doing, and let me handle my music on my own. But whatever. So she goes to see a music producer, her and Ralph, and she plays her song for this music producer. Now, the song was fine. There's nothing wrong with the song, and there's nothing wrong with her singing, because Drew can definitely sing. But to me, the song was a little bit generic. It sounded like everything else that's on the radio right now. So I really was not that impressed, like the way I was impressed with Candace's music on the Real Housewives of Potomac. For some reason, Candace's music is very like true R&B, old school R&B, 90s R&B vibe. Whereas, Drew is singing whatever's going on right now, and it just seems like it's not really standing out for me. But maybe she'll surprise me later. So all of a sudden, Drew, it feels like she's the next Mariah Carey, Beyonce wrapped up into one. So we'll see how far this music thing takes her. And Marlo, she's just chilling, taking care of her boys, staying out of the drama so far because she hasn't been directly triggered. She's just been observing everybody else getting into it. And, she's just staying in her lane, doing her thing. And we'll see how long that lasts. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.